I'm an affair baby. I found out on Sunday that my dad cheated on my brother's mom with mine. I feel really dumb for being surprised because I am less than a month younger than my brother, but whenever we brought that up we were always told by everyone that there was never any cheating and that my dad and his wife had been separated. I wish nobody had lied to begin with because finding out now makes me feel like an idiot, and it has been a lot worse than if my family had just been honest with me to begin with. I don't want to share how I found out because that involves too many personal details, but it was explosive and traumatic, and I feel like I would have been better off getting spared having to find out like that. Worse yet, my brother and his mother are the only two people I truly consider my family. I won't go into too much detail, but I was taken away from my biological mother when I was 11 years old because she called her my brother's mother. My biological mother never wanted to be a mother, so she wasn't, and I was severely neglected as a child. My father got custody of me, but he didn't really care about me, nor did he want me around, so I usually went with my brother to his mother's house. This lady is literally an angel. She is the best person I know, and I already felt guilty thinking my dad took time off with her and ran straight to bed with my mom. He sort of raised me and always treated me like I was his son as much as my brother because he knew I didn't have a mother in my life. I've called her mother since I was 13, and she always calls me her son or her stepson, even though she and my father are no longer married. I don't understand how she did all this when she knew what I really was. I've never been cheated on, but I feel like I can't help but resent the clear evidence that my partner cheated on me, and that's how I usually see people talking about the relationship, honey. I feel disgusting. I don't even want to look at myself. She literally took a day off work yesterday to drive 2 hours to my university to come tell me in person that she loves me, and she's never blamed me, and I just don't get it because I feel like if I were her I would at least not want to be around me. My brother has also been texting me assuring me that he doesn't care and he isn't mad, and it just doesn't feel right. I feel like they should both hate me. I am the manifestation of their happy family getting destroyed. I shouldn't even exist. I know the bad guys in this situation are my dad and my bio mom, but I still feel like I play a part in it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but that's still how I feel. I just feel really stupid for not figuring it out sooner, and I don't know how I'm ever going to be around my family ever again without dying of guilt. If my brother's mom hadn't called CPS to begin with, I think I would probably be dead, and I don't know where I would be if I had been left with only a parent who didn't love me or want me around. I don't even know who to talk to about this because my mom and brother just keep repeating the same nice things over and over again, and it just makes me more upset for some reason because I don't feel like I deserve to hear that, but I'm too embarrassed by this whole situation to tell someone who doesn't already know who actually knows who I am. Story 2, Wife broke me inside. I 49 caught my wife 46 almost 3 years ago. She cheated on me with a colleague. As I went to plug in her phone, I read a text message. She fell asleep on the sofa. You know it's a long night's work. I still want to throw up when I remember what I read. What a kisser he is, everything he does is fabulous, and so on. I screamed and left. I came back 3 hours later with dozens of messages and calls. I stayed because I was 4 years old. Fantastic 6 years ago. It still hurts and I feel dead inside. I just go through the motions of life regardless of my daughter and the things she is involved with. The wife said she was sorry for everything they talked about. I monitor her devices, etc. There is no reason to believe that she has been unfaithful since then. After 2 weeks, she left the job. I still don't know what to do. I am 49 and don't want to hurt my daughter, She is happy and loves us both. We're not fighting, but I don't know if I can go on like this. When she asked me to stay, I told her that if I stayed, I would get a free pass forever or until I used it. She reluctantly agreed, but I never did. It's not me, but I wonder if this will help me get over her, or make me feel good or bad, just tired of dying. COVID freezes time a bit, but now that life is opening up I don't know what to do. She said it happened once, but even then she didn't regret texting the person. Then I found out 2 weeks after I got caught that there was another man who wasn't sexual, supposedly. Like I said, it's been 2 years, but COVID is pretty complicated, and all the lockdowns make me feel like there's nothing I can do. As for any suggestions that only our 3 grown kids and my brother know, I'm on my side. Even my stepdaughter is mad at him, but it's pretty much up to us. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, if you can't forgive her after this much time, you should break up. You aren't happy, you're still monitoring her devices, so there's still no trust. Staying for your daughter doesn't make sense. In an unhappy home the kids aren't happy either. Take a chance on your own happiness. Leave, try to find a happy life, and show your child that it's okay to act with self-love. I was in your daughter's position as a kid. My mom stayed, but never forgave my dad. She punished him and it made him miserable, but she was miserable too, and so were us kids. You and your daughter deserve better. Redditor follow-up, yep. I agree. My sister was in a situation like this. Her husband told her when she was 43, that he wasn't to have time with her anymore. I found out later he was addicted to pea iron. I told her to dump the guy, but she stayed for the kids, had affairs to meet her needs, and it was a super hot mess. No one was happy, husband, sister, nor the kids. You have to either forgive or walk. Redditor 2. You can be divorced and happy and able to still have a relationship with your children, so you cheating might make you feel better, but it's not the answer. Life is short, so why be miserable living with no feelings for your spouse? And if you stay, you'll be broken until you die, and in today's world divorce is usually better for the kids, and since she doesn't love you and will cheat again, find yourself someone who will treat you how you should be treated, not cheated on. So get a lawyer and at least find out your options. Good luck. Redditor 3, ask yourself one question: what would make you happy? It's not about the kids or anyone else. If it sickens you every day, has you questioning her actions, searching her phone, is that what you want for yourself? Story 2, my dad is having an affair with someone who is my age. I am kind of reeling. My mum doesn't want to talk about it and just says I don't understand what it means to be married. Maybe I don't, but I really don't think this is right. My dad 49M and my mum 47F have been married 20 plus years. They have me 21M and my younger sibling. Don't want to get into siblings' age gender as they don't know anything about this. They're younger though. Sibling was diagnosed with cancer 8 years ago, and it was a big journey to make sure that sibling got through it. It took a big toll on the whole family. My mum gave up her job to look after sibling full time. It was over 2 years of back and forth. But we got lucky, sibling is thriving now. My father has a high intensity job and is always working a lot, but he always comes home for dinner. But about a year into his sibling's treatment, he started working late or going to the golf club 1 night a week. Then over time it became 2 nights, and in recent years it has been half a week. It was clear that the sibling's illness did not bring our parents closer together. My mum loved it, and to be honest she wasn't always emotionally there, but my siblings were really bad, so I got it. She has been amazing ever since. A few years ago I asked my mom if she and dad were happy, and she said that marriage is not all romance and rainbows, they live together. That doesn't really answer my question, or maybe it does. About a year ago I finally realized that my dad was having an affair, and it had been going on for a long time. Basically, I found a document that showed he was renting an apartment across town. That's when I realized that my mom was looking like that. She just shook her head and I didn't say anything. 2 days ago I found out what his stress was. This is a girl in my school class. Izzy actually used to hang out with my best friend of 14-16 years. My boyfriend was devastated when he broke up with her. Apparently she did because she met my father. He rents an apartment, and they have an affair for 5 years. I confronted my dad and he simply told me it was none of my business. His relationship with my mom evolved after his siblings got sick, his sexual needs increased and Izzy was able to meet them and my mom not. WTF. He said my mom confirmed that he told mine he was planning an affair with Izzy before it started, and that he had ground rules so that Izzy couldn't come to our house and he would still be home X number of nights per week and would spend no more than £X on Izzy. Mom said yes, and it's been that way ever since. My mom just said she doesn't want to discuss it and that relationships change over time. My dad said he's going to his apartment for the rest of the week while I get settled in, but he'll be back on Monday and we won't talk about it again. I have stayed at home during the pandemic because my university is closed and I have nowhere else to go. Besides, my mom didn't want me to go. The siblings are still in school and don't know anything about it. I'm physically kind of nauseous about this whole thing and I don't want anyone to know. My dad is just a total creep. I hadn't spoken to Izzy in a long time, but I remember her as really quiet and very clever. She is also very beautiful. Her parents had a very messy divorce during the last couple of years at school and I remember her being very upset about it. I can't believe that she's put in 5 years of her life into this. My friend really loved her. He spent a good 2 years trying to win her back. I don't know what to do. I need a roof over my head, but I don't want to look at my dad's smug face again. I hate how my mother can't meet my eye. I feel like sibling knows something's up and I don't want to lie. It's like the house I thought was made of bricks was just made out of straw, but I don't know if I have spine to blow the whole thing down. Would we be better off? Internet people, fresh perspective appreciated. Update: my dad is having an affair with someone my age. To the people who said that my dad is a cool dude is who killing it, and that I was jealous, I suggest seeking therapy for your tortured self-esteem issues. To the people who said that it was an open marriage, a fetish for my mother too, nah. I get that polygamy may be a good thing for some people, but I think that's often about one person being selfish at the expense of the feelings of their partner. It has become very clear that this has been what is happening here. Eventually, the younger brother found out what had happened. I told her I posted and she thanked me for keeping my privacy, but she is nice to people who know her age, gender. Yes. She is a girl, she is a teenager. I understand that my instinct is to protect her from harm when she's sick, but the truth is, she's one of the strongest, most resilient people I know, and she doesn't really need it. When Dad got home, my brother and I ran into him again. He's a little afraid that now his siblings know too. He explained it again. He meets Izzy and knocks her out, vomits, so he tells her he wants to start a relationship. He said that he had originally met Izzy for coffee and laid the groundwork with her. He laid the groundwork with my mum too, but when pressed by his siblings he admitted that he had told my mum that if she took sides he would want a divorce. Way. That sure sounds like the weirdest adultery I've ever heard. It's not like I've actually met anyone who was unfaithful. While he and Izzy were talking, Dad found an apartment and set it up for their date. The siblings again demanded an explanation as the father became less and less available. As time went on he said it started one night a week, then he sent Izzy back to her parents, but over time they started spending the night together on special occasions, then every week until to where we are now, where he's been here half a week and he's the other half. He also said that they are now using a different apartment than the one they started with because Izzy lives there now and their apartment was only a 2-story apartment for the first few years. He finally admitted that he had breached the budget he had agreed with my mother to spend on his affair. The sister told him she was no longer happy under his roof and packed up to live with her partner. She told our mom that she loved her and that Dad would be back when she was gone. Mom freaked out a little and said she shouldn't go, but my sister said she didn't want anything to do with our dad, and she walked out the door with her suitcase. In the end, I confessed everything to a girl I've known for a few weeks, and I ran away from there too. I was really hesitant because my situation was very new and I didn't want to give her the impression that I was rude like my father. She turned out to be very empathetic, but I promise it's a very temporary fix. Apparently the girlfriend I'm dating has a free room in her dorm and I'm 95% sure I'm moving in at the beginning of May. It can be hard to afford, but I do. Back at the homestead, sibling has also been in touch with our maternal uncle who I think is stepping in to lay down the law to my mum that she needs to kickstart a divorce because this situation is utterly unacceptable. If we were in America, Dad would have liable for criminal charges. I worried about burning down the house, but the house was already very much on fire. My parents will be separating even if people who love my mother have to step in directly. Someone commented about boiling frog syndrome, and I think my mother is very much a little boiled frog, but I am very hopeful that we can extricate her from this situation to a more positive way of being. And, ultimately I drafted a text message to Izzy as I think I have her number stored on my phone. Thoughts on whether it would be wise to send would be appreciated. Hi Izzy, my name here. My dad's probably told you that the family are now all aware about your involvement with him. I just want to make clear that we bear no ill will towards you personally, and that we wish you a brighter tomorrow. My dad's selfishness should not dictate your destiny, and I hope you find your way to a future that does not include him. Redditor's reactions last update after. Redditor 1, yeah bro, divorce is better here and your father is a remorseless cheater and stay with your mom. We are here to help you anytime, and did you tell that girl's parents about their affair? If not, tell them too. Stay safe. Sorry, English is not my first language. Redditor follow-up, hi Izzy, my name here. My dad's probably told you that the family are now all aware about your involvement with him. I just want to make clear that we bear no ill will towards you personally, and that we wish you a brighter tomorrow. My dad's selfishness should not dictate your destiny, and I hope you find your way to a future that does not include him. Why are you even care about this? Izzy, she know he's married, tell everyone, let them face the consequences, and she was having an affair with 40 plus and she knew she will never marry your dad, but she continued it knowing there is no future with him hurting your mom. In my words, tell her to fuck off, stop ducking, forgive the people who know exactly what they are doing is wrong, good luck op. Edit. Redditor 2, your draft message shows a huge amount of maturity and compassion. Regardless if she deserves it, you are a good person and should trust your instincts on how to communicate with Izzy. You know how she would respond better than any of us internet strangers. Redditor 3, I went back and read your original post and all I can say is wow. I mean, I understand that relationships change over time, especially when dealing with children, whether they be healthy or sick, but it seems like your mom had no choice but to go along with your dad's lifestyle change. I'm 52 and even to this day the thought of sleeping with one of my friend's dads grosses me out. I know the MILF-DILF thing is a thing, but a 16-year-old? No, just no. I hope that your mom will make the decision to put herself first and get out of that one-sided relationship. I wish your mom and you and your siblings all the best. Please keep us updated. Ready to follow up. I'm 52 and even to this day the thought of sleeping with one of my friend's dads grosses me out. Of course. Because your friends' dads these days are like 80. Probably like pushing a rope. Ready to fall. I think how you all are handling it is fine. My only suggestion, in your message to Izzy, is to relay what, specifically, your dad was selfish about, and to explain that it was not okay with you. For example, his strong-arming your mother into accepting what he wanted, and that was not okay. Her age might make her more susceptible to this. And that's not even unpacking the age differences and when he started their relationship. Because, as time goes on, she may be strong-armed into something she's uncomfortable with if she sticks with your father, and may not have the maturity to understand one doesn't have to put up with it, and two, that it's not healthy in a positive relationship. My heart goes out to all of you. One person's selfish behavior causing a lot of anguish, and the dismantling of a family is never an easy thing to go through. It sounds like all of you will be going through a lot of changes, so it might be beneficial to see if you can seek counseling together with your mom, or suggest counseling for her, too. Ready to follow up. 100% agree with this. Definitely let Izzy know exactly what she has gotten herself into and the damage, albeit indirectly, she is causing, both to herself in the future and your family. The only thing I fear is that Izzy is probably dependent on him at this point, so it might be a bit difficult to pull the rose-colored glasses off. Update, thank you and farewell. Hi to everyone who had constructive advice. Just want to say cheers to all who got in touch with helpful things to say. Much appreciated. It's been a weird couple of weeks. My sibling is now planning to move back in with mum's sister, will also be bringing her BF with her. So strange. I was literally banned from going on holiday with my then GF at that age, but I think she's just being the youngest child who sets her own rules, and that's fine. Anyway, this is all happening as our father has now left for good. I think I'm staying moved out, as I think at 21 I just don't want to be living in my childhood bedroom. But I will be visiting home fairly frequently. My girlfriend has now met mother and sister, and although that felt quite out of the blue, it was nice and felt like we mum, sibling and myself are going to come through as a family after all of this. No idea what's going on with Izzy, but going to keep message in draft for another couple of weeks till the dust settles, but then probably send it. I just want to explain that I'm not going to post or update after this because Reddit is weird. Like really ducking strange. So many comments telling me to contact Izzy's parents no matter how many times I said they were a train wreck. So many messages telling me that I'm a virgin who's jealous of my dad, including a few that were weirdly threatening. So bizarre having strangers screech down the internet at me for not minding my own business when my mother has been subject to coercive control for years. My mother broke down in tears about how trapped my father had left her feeling and that she didn't know how to get out. My uncle told me privately that he has got some serious Sally Challen vibes here, and we are just grateful to have caught on to what was happening before my father pushed my mother too far. So apologies to the sane 95% who have been wonderful, including those who expressed concern that we were taking over and making decisions for my mother, because that is a valid opinion and one we do need to consider. You are all wonderful and compassionate humans. But I'm not scared of the remaining 5% sitting there with their shriveled DCKS in hand, whacking off to the idea of a man in his late 40s screwing a vulnerable barely 16-year-old. Really makes me as a bloke realize the insidiousness of the patriarchy, and how it salivates over situations where women have been oppressed. Anyway, I'm off. All best to most of you, but to those who get their kicks via coercion, get help. Right? Dear time. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, I'm rereading this, and I know you probably won't see this, but even if you don't reach out to Izzy, reach out to her friend that gave you those dirty looks. She knew then, and she might be easier to talk to or get the ball rolling with this. And also, you're a spectacular person. I'm glad you and Sib are taking care of your mother. Your dad isn't a shoal and absolutely not who you have to be or will be. You're proving it every day. Redditor 2, I'm happy your mother made it out of this, because this is a situation that would have worn her down to death, no doubt. I know you said Izzy's family is a mess, but I don't think you understand that most parents, even SCT ones, would be very concerned to find out that while they were in the midst of an ugly divorce, their 16-year-old daughter was being dicked down by a 44-year-old man. Your father has proved himself to be a liar. I don't see why he wouldn't lie about her financial dependence on him, or consent. Besides, her family issues were years ago. It could be better by now, and she could be so much worse. I know she might not be a victim, but that's what people said about your mother. Also, if your father deals with people in that age range, you may want to inform his company.